Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
There is crisis in the drone army. That's right. And we reported on this back in January of 2015. This is January 5th. U.S. drone fleet at breaking point over operator shortage. Despite lucrative salary, drone pilots are becoming harder to find. The U.S. Air Force has no shortage of MQ-1 Predator and MQ-9 Reaper assault drones, yet it is running out of experienced drone operators, cites an internal service memo that indicated that Air Combat Command cannot keep up with educating and training new personnel to satisfy the Pentagon's ever-growing demand for drone flights. That's right, but now it's gotten a little worse. In addition to not being able to keep up with the initial demand, they have record numbers of drone operators quitting. American drone operators are quitting in record numbers. This is out of The Nation. There are roughly 1,000 such drone pilots in the Air Force today, and another 180 pilots graduate annually from the training program. As it happens, in those same 12 months, just this past year, about 240 trained pilots quit, and the Air Force is at a loss to explain the phenomenon. And it's not just military drones that you need to worry about and who they're killing. We have a whole domestic drone program that's coming here, and we've got drones outfitted with tasers and pepper spray bullets and shotguns. In fact, Alex's son Rex produced this report about drones and talking about all the different implications they have here domestically. Here's that report, and then we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with an interview from today's show of Barrett Brown, basically eviscerating the government, a self-proclaimed anarchist who's speaking out from jail. Stay tuned. It's the Infowars Nightly News.
Hi, I'm Rex Jones, and this is a report about drones. What are drones? What are their uses in today's society? Will they make humanity obsolete compared to the new age of robotics and computer chips of tomorrow? What exactly is a civilian drone? A civilian drone is a drone that won't attack you, spy on you, or tase you in any way, shape, or form. These civilian drones normally go for a non-threatening look and style and approach, like this little thing over here, and are used in filming, photography, and just old plain recreational fun. In the media, drones are becoming more and more popular. Using drones in films is actually one of the #1 new filmmakers trends that is going on in the USA today. Later, we're going to have an expert veteran drone operator come on the show and have him explain to us all the little quirks and kinks that these drones have to offer. Before we go to our expert, I would just like to explain to you a few facts about drones. A drone, as Wikipedia and Webster describe it, is an unmanned aircraft or ship guided by a remote control or onboard computer. When operating a drone, the owner must have a direct line of sight. The direct line of sight allows the owner of the drone to fly it safely and to make sure he does not get disoriented. Now let's take a look at the job market. With more and more drones being spat out of factories, the jobs are opening up. Amazon is looking for drone pilots to drop gifts off at people's houses. And all sorts of other companies are lining up and making sure they hire for new drone operators. So hey, if you're a hobbyist, you just got a job. Now that we've covered the basics of drones, let's go to a real expert. I would like to introduce you to Gerard of I Am Aerial. How does a drone work?
Surprisingly, the technology of drones is a lot like cell phones. Basically, cell phones have a GPS. They have what they call an IMU, which tells you its orientation. They have a compass. So basically, these are the same kind of things that you find in a drone, a GPS internally. You'll have a compass, exactly. Here you'll have a place where you can attach your camera. So really, the technology is very similar to a cell phone.
When I'm looking at this is a battery, right?
Yep.
So what makes this so different than the average Duracell D or AA battery you'd buy at Target?
First of all, it's a lithium polymer battery, and it's very light and it's very high voltage. So it gives these guys a lot of thrust and gets them up in the air and flying for a good amount of time.
Amazon is looking at hiring ex-military personnel to fly drones and deliver packages to their customers. How do you feel about that, and what are some problems there?
Well, I think it's a really neat concept. I think a lot of things need to be figured out as far as allowing these drones to travel through cities and buildings, and just being very careful and mindful of where these things go, especially when you lose sight of them. And that's a big thing with flying drones, that you always want to have line of sight.
What happens when a drone gets out of control? Like, take this one article, for example. Drone owner located after device lands in family's backyard. There's some obvious concerns about privacy there.
Sure. Yeah, and that's a very unfortunate case, and it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes if the battery runs out or there's some pilot error, the drone will fly away. And fortunately, with a lot of these systems, it's built in what they call return to home. So if, for example, with this remote, if I just power it off, the drone knows to automatically come back to the point where I launched it from, because it's locked in by the GPS.
The government has started to put kill switches into these drones to where it's in the firmware to restrict drone usage in certain areas. If I was flying this drone near the White House or any other top secret government area, it would immediately fall out of the sky or just return to home.
The most important thing, I think it's a safety issue. And for example, if you try to fly these drones within 5 miles of an airport, you can literally be flying and it's almost like it hits a brick wall and it will just not go into that airspace. And it's designed for a reason, right? We don't want drones in the airspace of planes and all that kind of stuff.
But the problem with that is that when we come out with, like, how Google's always talking about smart cars and smart planes that will self-drive.
Right.
The problem is, what would happen if the firmware was in those as well? In one day, if it was in a computer chip that could be implanted into humans. So there's concerns there about
Sure.
the government regulating everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gerard, it was great to have you here.
Thank you, Rex. Appreciate it.
In this chilling commercial put out by the Pennsylvania Tax Committee, they brag about how they might use drones to track us and spy on us. They claim that they would only use it on tax cheats, but what if you were a government dissident?
This easy. Pay online by June 18th, and we'll skip your penalty and take half off your interest. Because, Tom, we do know who you are.
Now that we're done with consumer drones, it's time to move on to military and law enforcement drones. So these drones go from tiny nano spy drones that they're using in Iraq to track criminals to the giant Reaper drones, which can fire 4 Hellfire missiles raining down on villages. Let's go through a few Infowars.com articles about the drone threat today. U.S. drone kills 4 Al-Qaeda suspects, not confirmed, in Yemen. Says here, a U.S. drone killed 4 suspected Al-Qaeda militants in the northeast Yemen on Monday morning, officials and tribesmen said. I wonder how many other people got hurt by the shrapnel in the blast, because this was in a village. This was not out in the middle of nowhere. Now let's look at the law enforcement side of things. Riot control drone to shoot pepper spray bullets at protesters. How nice. For decades now, riot control has always been a government must-have. There are a lot of these riot control drones, and I want to go to another one. A DHS-funded taser drone that was launched right here in Texas. Montgomery County in Texas spent $250,000 on a taser drone that can follow a suspect and shoot 4 barbed electrodes that can be shot at a distance of 100 feet, delivering neuromuscular incapacitation to the victim. I think that this is a very proactive way to steal our rights. Well, we've learned a lot about drones today, but that's not all. Go online and be active and find more knowledge. Infowars.com isn't a bad place to start either. So, have fun. I'm Rex Jones, reporting for Infowars.com.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.
Introducing Secret 12, the new Infowars Life vitamin B12 formulation. Most forms of vitamin B12 are highly processed and synthetic and could not be properly absorbed by the body. That's why for real results, so many are having to turn to painful B12 injections, which are known to have higher absorption rates. Now, InfoWarsLife.com is excited to announce that we can bring you our most bioactive, powerful form of B12 that has been developed with our exclusive perfected process. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12, methylcobalamin, the same kind used in B12 injections, and adenosylcobalamin. Secret 12 is simply taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Discover the secret. Secret 12. Secure your revolutionary Secret 12 formula right now at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.